Good morning, Quadcopter 101. I just turned on my MJ cam with my little on-off switch of my watch here. The MJ cam, or the SJ cam M20. Neat camera. But anyways, what I got for you today is, it says E801, but I'm pretty sure it's E802 is the name of it. But it's from edumodel.com. edumodel. They make these larger two-channel aircraft, RC aircraft, which are relatively inexpensive, yet pretty darn neat in my opinion. This one here looks like a little puddle jumper airliner, but what I got for it, it's again two-channel. The controls on this particular quadcopter, all you got is really throttle and rudder. There is a trim knob in the upper right corner of the controller that gives you some trim for right and left. But other than that, that's about all the control you got. So it's pretty simple operation. These trim tabs here are actually inoperative. They're fake trim tabs on the bottom here. But there is this trim for throttle if you want to use trim for throttle, and there is some trim. Actually, I'm not sure what this button is for. Let me hold on a second. I got to take my glasses off to see that. Oh, you can turn the lights on and off with this button here, and you can select different rates with this button here. It says speed actually, so we're going to try to remember to press that button there and see how it changes the flight characteristics of the airplane. Okay, so in effect, it's very simple to operate. Not much to talk about other than it's a two-channel aircraft. It's the E802. Before I launch it into the air, I want to double check one thing here, that I actually am recording. Do I got a blinking light? I do have a blinking light. We should be actually good to go. I am going to try to take off from the ground first on the dirt here, because I'm hoping that these wheels actually would operate well out here. We're going to find out if that's true, but I got the airplane turned on and turning on the transmitter of the Edu model E802 and making sure the transmitter is on. Okay, the wind's coming from that direction. Hopefully this will work. Let's go for flight. No, it's too bumpy. I'm going to have to hand launch it, obviously. Okay, let's give it a hand toss. It was worth a try, wasn't it? So, full throttle. Needs a lot of trim to the left. Needs a lot of trim. Hold on, folks. Let's see how crash resistant it is. That was the first toss of it. Okay. Let's see. I want it to tilt to the right, so I probably want to trim it to the left. Or we'll find out here shortly. I hope it stayed in one piece. Well, that tail came off, but that tail was just held in place. But yeah, that nosed right in, and it's pretty damn crash resistant. That's good. Let's put that tail back on. Touching the sticks, I shouldn't be doing that. But the tail is back on. But let's look it over. Well, what do you know? Incredibly crash resistant. Let me tilt this up too. See if that helps a bit. Making sure everything looks fine. I think I got it. By George, I think I got it. Took a while to trim that up. But there we go, finally. Required quite a bit of trimming with that trim knob. Yeah, it was way out of trim. That trim knob can be a bear to get it right, but finally I got it right. So, let's just see how well it flies once it's trimmed up like that. Yeah, this knob here, folks, that was pretty awful. Hey, it glides very nicely, I'll give you that. I have hardly any throttle on this at all. Let's try turning the other way. Yeah, let's try bringing it in close so you can see it. Reducing throttle a bit. It's flying nicely now. Hardly any throttle on this at all. Oh yeah, they say this thing can fly for 15 minutes. Maybe it can, because I have hardly any throttle on it at all, folks. And look how it's flying. A little more throttle now. Climb a bit. So, what did we learn? We learned it's crash resistant. We learned you really need to tune this knob. Be careful doing that. Maybe if you have a flat field or a grassy field, you're going to need that to get this tuned. But once it's tuned in, don't mess with it anymore. It flies real nice once you do get the rudders trimmed, or the yaw control trimmed. But after that, just leave it alone, and damn, it flies nicely. It actually glides real nicely too. Let's turn off the throttle. Okay, throttle back on. Maybe it ain't that great of a glider, but it doesn't require much throttle to stay in the air. Too much. Be real gentle with the controls on this, both on throttle and on yaw, because it will get touchy if you apply too much. I'm just putting little gentle trim or gentle turns onto it, going up a little bit more. But yeah, it's flying. A little more throttle. Get to climb a bit too. The range on it, we're at about 100 meters, so it's got good range, and it's climbing quite easily. Cutting back the throttle back to about I'd say 40% throttle. It climbs easily at 40%, and reducing throttle. Well, once you get it in the air, get it trimmed, it's kind of fun. Gentle flyer. But yeah, you got to be real gentle with the controls. It'll easily overcorrect. You know, we're talking about give it a 5% right throttle, 5% when you're just barely touching the yaw control to the right and to the left, and it will turn. Very visible. With its colors, red and white. Reducing throttle. Wonderful little airplane once you get it in the air. Well, not little airplane, this thing's big. The E802, folks. Just be gentle with it. One right overhead. Cutting back on the throttle. Yeah, maybe this can fly for 15 minutes. It has a big battery. I'll give you that. I'll pull out the battery when we get back to show you. Relatively large battery on this. Well, but it needs it. It's a big airplane. I'm just going to let this thing turn. Seems to have a little bit yaw to the left, but that's fine for me. Just let it turn to the left. Okay, turn to the left more. Come back to me. Oh, don't go through the sun, but it's too late. two-channel motor yaw control airplanes. They have that you're turning them. They all got that distinctive sound. There's a lot of these two-channel airplanes out there these days. If you're a beginner, a good one to start with is the FX series, FX 802 through 8, I believe, or 801 through 8 actually. They're very easy to fly little airplanes. Actually, really cool little airplanes too, and they're inexpensive because they're small. This one here, I picked this after you've been flying those for a bit and got some understanding of how these two channels work. These yaw control two channels. This would be your next step above after the FX 802s or the FX 800 series. I gotta bring this by for a close flyby here. Let's do that. Close flyby. Yeah, we're going to do more close flybys with it. Turning it again. Takes a while to get the feel of this thing. That's why I don't recommend it for total beginners. I had another one like this, or I still got it actually. It's a large two-channel differential yaw airplane, FX 860, which is a Chinese fighter aircraft replica, which is actually a pretty cool flyer, but it took a while to get used to it like this one. A little more throttle. Yeah, that throttle, just set it, and once you get it set, just leave it alone. I recommend that. And again, for turning on this thing, gentle taps. Gentle taps, and let it center itself back up again. It does have a little dihedral, so it does steady itself. Let me adjust it a bit here. That's the wrong way. Let's turn it to the left. How about if I turn it this way? I'm turning the trim tab. There we go. I got it. Perfect. Once you get this in a stable... Okay, let's turn it to the left now. So this turns it to the left, this turns it to the right. Once you get up to altitude, then mess around with this trim tab here to get it going. I'm setting it up high right now. I want to see it glide. I want to see this thing glide. Okay, cutting back throttle. Slowly. Slowly. Cutting back throttle. And just leaving a little on there so I have some control. Okay, it's total gliding. It glides. Neat airplane. E802. It might be E801. It says E801 on the side, but I'm pretty sure it was E802. It'll be in the title, the correct name of this. But again, from edumodel.com. Or edumodel.com is the maker of this, but it's available from, oh, I forgot who I got this from. I'll include the link where I got this from too, where you can purchase this. But they make all sorts of this size aircraft. Different shapes, you know, different styles, if you're not into this little airliner version. But yeah, this is a long flight of this thing. I want to see actually how long that battery lasts. If it actually does go out to 15 minutes like they say. Climbing up again, only at half throttle, a little bit past half throttle, but it climbs readily at that. Cutting back on the throttle a bit now. Yeah. Now it wants to turn to the left again. I ain't gonna mess with the trim. It varies. Okay, that throttle's getting low. Here we go. There we go. That's its flight time, folks. Yeah, we had a little bit of problem there in the beginning. Probably a lot of pilot error there. I would blame that on mostly. But once you get this trim tab tuned in, it's a nice flyer. So all in all, you know, keep that in mind. A lot of that was pilot error. I admit that. I enjoyed it. It was the E801 or E802. I can't remember now. I'll find out. Again, I'll include it in the title. But overall, neat flyer. Let me show you again the innards of this thing. It has an on-off switch. And here's the battery port. And here is the battery. 7.4 volt. How many milliampere hour on this thing? 800 milliampere hour. 15C battery. So, you know, if you can find something in that range that'll fit in this bay, you know, there's a lot of wiggle room left in there. So there are other batteries that would probably work with this. It uses JST connector. So look for a JST connector in that range. Actually, I can think of some that are similar to this that might work. So particularly not the Tarantula, but the WL Toys V262 actually might work in there. You can find the original 850 milliampere hour. So I enjoyed that. Quadcopter 101. I hope you enjoyed this flight. Quadcopter 101. Sighting out.